Lisa Barlow has confirmed new details about the fart heard around the world from Todd Newport. Apparently, Lisa was on the Salt Lake City after show and clarified that it wasn't a series of multiple farts from Todd while he was kissing another woman, but just one giant fart that completely ruined the mood. I'm sure that date probably felt similar to Brandon Flowers. It started out with a kiss. How did it end up like this? Now here's Amy to comment on this giant news update.
Todd's like, it was only a kiss. It was only a kiss.
I was thinking that date probably felt just like the front person from The Killers for a second. You know what I mean? What did you know?
Yeah,
seriously.
I guess multiple is worse than one, but if it's one big one, that might even be worse.
Yeah, it kind of makes you have to think about this, scenario even longer. I think it's much more permissible for me on my end. And if I was doing this in a relationship or with someone on a date, I think one horrible, huge accident is much better than...
What if they were like silent little toots?
Well, we know, though. I mean, apparently this person was able to audibly pick up all of these. Detect these.
Maybe it wasn't audible. Maybe she felt it.
Really? Oh, okay. Well, that's probably best case scenario because you could blame that on anything. My interpretation, which we didn't really get into, was that it was like 4 or 5, 6 out of 10.
That's so gnarly.
What did you envision?
Yeah, I think I tried to block really getting into the nitty gritty of how bad it could be. Yeah. I hope that it wasn't diaper territory where he wasn't sure if it had crossed into another lane,
Right. I agree with you completely. And I think that it's just it changes. Okay. The sort of rapidity or the sort of frequent utterances definitely makes it seem much odder to me versus just that huge mistake.
One accident.
One huge
Just because it's one doesn't mean it had to have been huge. It could have been one small.
Totally. And I think Lisa Barlow is sort of walking this claim, back. That little sort of gleeful spin you put on a rumor to make it a little more fun. I think that's where the multiple came from. And this, unfortunately, it's just sort of one moderate one that Todd let loose.
Let it rip.
Yeah. So does that change? It doesn't change anything for you. Still probably the same. Like, we still think about it the same, right?
Yeah. It's mostly just worst case scenario for him that we are having this conversation, that now everyone's wondering and painting a picture.
I think so. And it does. I mean, yeah, it really, it does sort of really just provoke imagery immediately. But I don't think hopefully we've heard the last from, about this and from Todd.
Remember when everyone was saying that Trump dumped in his diaper and there was all this footage of people being like covering their face and stuff. And I'm like, what is the truth?
Oh, of course. I remember Dumpy Diaper Gate from around 2018. Oh, yeah. He was getting on the Air Force One and it looked like there was a huge sort of bulbous diaper that was filled up. Well, great. Have you sort of
great way to start?
You started to get over this whole Todd Newport thing, right? I mean, unless they're going to talk about it more next week, we're sort of, the scandal has subsided a bit, right? We've moved past it, right?
As a community. Were you the one that sent me that Andy's like obsessed with it?
I did. I sent it to you. Andy goes, the fact that he was talking to Jeff Lewis or something, and he goes, the fact that Angie was able to put that extra squeak on it, spin on it, that it made it just so much better of a rumor to sort of dish out. So he's really enjoying this whole kind of fart, I guess, scandal on Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I'm a little worried for Bronwyn's home life. He must be tearing the house apart thinking about this, but
totally
sending you our best.
Bronwyn won't comment on it still. They said on the after show, they said, this is when we're going to talk about the Todd fart. And she was just completely closed mouth, one line. Oh, not even next question. Not even next question. So
I need to, I feel like Salt Lake is worth watching the after show. I kind of, I think I've only ever watched it for Vanderpump, The Valley, and Summer House.
Yeah.
Like those historically have been the only shows that I wanted extra information about. But for something like this, I could delve in.
Yeah. If I can be honest for a second, I forgot they existed.
Yeah. they kind of went by the wayside. For a while, people were really talking about, I think it was, I feel like the under 42 show after shows are just more consequential.
Yeah, I think I forgot that they're on for Housewives franchises as well, but I
They
haven't
don't
watched
promote
one.
them.
Yeah, what the hell? I haven't watched one of those since probably maybe The Valley when we were laughing and loving those behind the scenes things. So I don't know what the hell's going on over there, but I'm glad that Bravo TV provided this exclusive because that's how it got on my radar. Speaking of that ship, speaking of the below deck ship that they were on when they discussed that rumor, I sent you this right before Turtle Time. I think
yes.
you acknowledged it. Christina Applegate was horrified by the behavior of the Salt Lake City cast on this trip. She wrote a tweet, and I barely even want to read it. It's so laden with curses and just awful negative talk. But she said, what did she say? She said, these women, no. She said the treatment of the crew and my pals by the women was super gross. I hope they apologize to Captain Jason and Daisy Kellner. Wow. ... And so that has been sort of, I mean, people know what we're talking about now. This has been a huge sort of news update for the last 3 days or so. What did you see when you first saw that tweet? What did you think?
Yeah, my main question was, is she actually friends with them or is she just a huge below decky and was like, don't treat my TV friends like that. I know that she's a huge Bravo head, but I wonder if it goes a step further. I'm not sure.
I'm glad that we're of the same mind or whatever that phrase is in which two people have the same thought. I also thought you're a below deck head looking out for your yachties and you love seeing it from their point of view, that sort of camaraderie and fun and the work life, and you didn't like seeing the Salt Lake City talk over them, not acknowledge Captain Jason when he went to sit. So that's probably where this sort of discrepancy is for Christina Applegate. Do you think that could possibly be the case?
I could see that. I also saw Heather posting evidence that she's met Captain Jason many times over the years. She was posting, I think she might have put receipts proof timeline in the stories text, but it was like 2023, 2024, like a bunch of times that they had hung out, I guess, just to prove that they were friends. I don't know if she was alluding to the fact that they had hooked up or just that she actually knows him.
Yeah, I mean, well, you've been saying to anyone who will listen that you don't think Heather had sex with Captain Jason. So it might be for people who are detractors of that. You know, she's trying to prove like, hey, this is a circumstance in which we had a couple of hours and where lovemaking or hooking up could have happened.
Right. Yeah, she says receipt, proof timeline, screenshots, Sydney 2024, her and Whitney and him, and then another one from 2024, the same trio. So, I mean, I don't really know the point of that, but congrats to her.
Congrats to her for sure. I mean, yeah, you know, it just allows for the possibility of us to imagine that on any of those random days, Heather and him could have been you know, having sex.
A dalliance.
Yeah. Christina Applegate tweeted one last thing. She said, I wish they would have eaten those zombie head ice creams that Ben made. That's my favorite dessert. So, I don't know.
Wonderful.
I guess it was a thread, or have you seen these threads on Twitter where it's like multiple 1, 2, 3? So it was that first one and then a second one. But anything else to say about those two things, Salt Lake City or Below Deck?
I already said this last time, but I really am excited to watch the other POV. So we'll see how pissed off the yachties really were.
And they told us that it's true that we are going to get this mirror. This mirror image from the other side. Below Deck is promoting it?
I think so, yeah.
What's Captain Jason's generation called?
I think it's Down Under.
Down Under. Oh, yeah, right. Right. This has been called Below Deck Down Under. Because I don't know. I forget all of them. I like Med and I liked the basic
but
one.
They weren't Down Under.
Did you see Sailing Yacht where it's just that skinny little boat with one captain on it?
I didn't even bother.
I don't mean either. People are like, I saw this list of the worst Bravo shows of all time, and they said, get Sailing Yacht out of here. The boat's too small. Anyway, let's keep going through the news. This is a Radar Online exclusive. We have a lot of people who love Radar Online. We have a lot of people who think it could possibly not be accurate source of news. So take this with a big grain of salt. But Radar Online is reporting that Teresa Giudice, Joe Gorga, and Melissa Gorga have buried the hatchet or / met secretly to address their long-standing feud, to move past it so that the door could be reopened to them by Bravo for a new sort of Jersey season that doesn't have such a tumultuous divide in it between them. So a source close to Teresa acknowledged that this secret meeting could have happened to lay the groundwork towards getting their feud over with completely. And that's kind of, that is why Jersey, I think, has been sitting there for so long, because they don't know how to address this cast issue here. So it strikes me as possibly true. Why wouldn't Joe and Melissa and Teresa want to, end this thing if it meant a new season of Jersey?
Yeah, I saw this. I don't remember if it was Dumois or I saw some version of it where it was a text or something where a girl, like a Samaritan, had seen them out at dinner. Like she was just at the restaurant and saw them with her own eyes, and they were in a private room. And so I saw it. Maybe it's the same source or whatever, but I don't know. And I'm like, I guess it does behoove them. I mean, Teresa at this point must be the highest paid housewife because she's the oldest, right? Or like been on the show the longest.
Yeah, she probably lost for the one season that she was gone, and they were like, hey, you don't get your upgrade, because they would probably be pretty strict about that. But yeah, she has to be top 4, top 5, unless they have done magic for like Kyle Richards, who has said, I'm going to leave, and then they go, it's time for your bonus. But I think you're right. Top 10, she has to be highest paid cast members.
Yeah. And, we're not even at this point, she probably needs the money. It's not chump change. I don't know. I feel like if there was going to be a spinoff, there would have been more talks about that by this point. So if that's not an option, then it's like, hurry up and fix this shit.
Yeah, I would bury any grudge ASAP for $1.5 million or whatever. I mean, I don't even, it's gotten so far where I don't really even know all of the grudges and grievances that those three have. We know family is thicker than oil and blood is thicker than water. And Teresa and Joe claim to love family so much, but the number one family member in both of your lives you're estranged from, it's always felt off and horrible. And I never thought Melissa was the one who was wedging this gap between them. I never saw Melissa as that. So it's time. They've let so many little petty things pile up that it is really time to have a full, just like, let's end this all and start fresh. And I think that it would be, could you imagine if we were watching that on Jersey, Joe and Teresa laughing and doing those front flips that they love to do, and the kids all seeing each other again?
Yeah. Not sure if they're capable. Also, she's still with Louis, so that's going to be an issue. Wasn't him versus Joe part of the problem with the pizza ovens business?
I forgot about Louis. Oh my God. She's got to divorce Louis first. Oh my God. You're right. She's got to divorce Louis. I don't know about that. You're right. There's one gigantic hurdle. That's
Did you
too bad.
also see, this is like a tangent, but I feel like it's a similar relationship, that Alexia from Miami is like taking Todd back even though they're in like a lawsuit or something?
No, is that true?
That just popped into my head. And I'm like, these bitches cannot get away from these evil men.
Alexia, it's verified that she might be trying to go back to...
Verified is a bold statement
okay.
for anything I say.
Oh, all right. Well, I would be shocked if that was the truth. I mean, it seemed like it was at the end, but who knows with Todd? I mean, Todd has got some hold on Alexia, but I think you're right. Actually, the Louis factor of this Teresa shit is hard to reconcile with my theory, but I just know if Bravo started running teasers for Jersey and it was like the family is back for family dinner, and then we saw clips of Joe Gorga going like this with his fork and knife on his plate at Teresa's house, banging it for more food at their house, you and I would have our minds blow up on Turtle Time. So
Yeah.
they have
They
it there.
also need to, I think they should get on the horn with the White House, get Joe Giudice back in the U.S., make that a huge subplot, because that would be amazing. Because Gia's been writing to the White House. She's I think she's did she drop out of school? She was trying to be an immigration attorney, and then I think she gave up and is just an influencer now or something. But she was attempting to work in that space. So I'm like, if there could be a little storyline where they could get Kim Kardashian involved, have his, I don't know, like call the Italian consulate, like let's figure it out. Let's get him back. That would be the true like full circle to bring all of them back.
Yes. Come home, Joe. It would be a huge, big campaign to get him back. And then Joe, we find out, was sort of the missing piece that this family needed to be the bridge to all of them again. You have a season where Joe Giudice, there's a campaign to get him back, and he arrives from the Bahamas in the final episode, plus Joe and Teresa are on the same side trying to get Joe back. That's one of the best seasons in Bravo history right there.
Seriously. I think I might have already mentioned this, but on the Kardashians, they had Caitlyn come and they really dramatized it, where it just showed her feet walking down the path, and you're like, is it really her?
Oh, so that would be so. Are you saying, oh my God, you're looking at the floor and then all of a sudden 2 feet come in to
flip flops?
I was thinking flip flops, and you pan up a little bit more, Bahama shorts, and then even higher up, and then it's Joe Giudice staring you in the face, and he's saying, "I'm home." Oh my God, we'd be crying. It's like it would be one of the most beautiful things. That thing you were saying about Gia becoming an immigration lawyer or whatever is so similar to Sopranos. I don't know if you remember, but Meadow wanted to pursue being a lawyer because of how the criminal justice system treated her father, Tony.
Right.
And so she became a lawyer because of that. So, I mean, what are the odds? That's so crazy.
How's your rewatch going?
Oh, it's going, I've watched Sopranos so many times that I don't even need to rewatch it anymore. It's just embedded in there. I've watched it probably 10 times, so I can always pretty much call it to mind anytime
You're still on Entourage?
Well, finished Entourage. One of the worst 2 final seasons of any show I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen anything like it. The finale is so bad. It was shocking. And really, they had no plot to do past season 6. They were all just kind of, I don't know what the hell was going on. I want to read like a behind the scenes tell all, but it was the worst ending of a show that I've ever seen.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. Just so dumb, even dumber than I was that I had come to expect from Entourage. It was,
how long was it on for?
8 years. So even longer. I mean, all the between time and everything. Like, it was like a decade of probably filming that show. I mean, it ends with Johnny finally he gets Johnny Bananas, the celebrated cartoon that he is the voice of, and he gets a made-for-TV movie that Vinny Chase co-wrote. So it ends on a huge win for all of our guys that we love, but it was just so boring and sloppy.
I see.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie?
Yeah, I did actually. I saw it with one of our mutual friends. I took, I think, a gummy bear of acid with with one of our wonderful friends.
I've heard this story.
Yeah, and it was really cool. I had no idea what the hell was going on. I thought it was one of the weirdest movies I'd ever seen in my life. And then we went in our friend's convertible and we started blasting the Jane's Addiction song as we drove down Sunset Boulevard, kind of to have our own Entourage moment. So it was a pretty wonderful night. Yeah.
You didn't freak out?
No, it was a really, probably ate the ear of a gummy bear. Knowing myself, I did not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I sent you a TikTok that Malala Yousafzai just wrote a new book, and she talked about at college she ripped a bong, and that she had a full Taliban flashback. And I was like, I feel you, girl. Like, that's what happens to me and Riley. Like, we also see something that bad.
Oh, my God. I couldn't even tell you. It would be like reliving Nightmare on Elm Street, the dreams that Freddy crafts, if I told you all the horrible times I've had on either weed or mushrooms or acid. It's not for me in my brain chemistry. Well, yeah, that's something that we have in common. We never talk about it. Weed is horrible for us.
We do talk about it. I'm sad about it. I'm always like, I have a little can, that brand can in my fridge, and I think it would be fine. It's only like 2 milligrams. I've done it before where I'll like take a bath, and it's like so low key that I think it would be fine. But it's so scary to me that it's been sitting in my fridge for like years, and I'm always like, that would be nice. And then I know the one time I do it, I'll be like in hell.
I know. I know. I'm the exact same way. I always sort of am envious of people who can be total potheads and be fun, watch a movie and be like, this is a funnier movie because I'm high while I'm watching it. Like I'd call the ambulance. All right. I think that you and I now, because we covered the news very well, a lot of news stories, but I think that we should talk about the third episode of Wife Swap, Real Housewives Edition. I actually enjoyed this episode. I think that because my bar was so lowered by whatever the hell those other 2 episodes were, Melissa Gorga and Angie K.
Yeah.
Angie, they were okay. They were all right. But for some reason, this family was so much more fun and dynamic to me. This Eric and Callie and those 3 kids and this farm and pig and goat life that I was actually having a little bit more fun. And I felt like instead of trying to fake a problem or a comparison for the families that they needed to address, I actually felt like Emily and Callie really got to the bottom of some deep shit in their relationships, especially I think like Callie when she was talking about Annabelle. Do you remember that part? She was like, Annabelle needs to know that she can sit on the couch and watch Bad News Bears with you all and that she's like wanted. And Emily's like, oh, I normally go up in my room and go on my iPad when Bad News Bears is on. And I felt like Callie really tried her hardest to like psychologically go deep with that family and really provide advice to Emily. And I think Emily valued it a little bit. Did you get a sense of that at all?
They there was no, despite the fact that it's technically a farm, like I think the pig was the big sell for it being an opposite life or whatever, but the house was like really nice. Like they both walked into nice houses. There was no like culture shock.
No.
They had chickens and like horses and a pig, but it wasn't even a farmhouse. It was just like they had a lot of like acreage.
Yeah, well, for the first time, the housewife version is kind of blown away by the setup. I mean, Emily looked in there and she goes, holy shit, this place is awesome. And then Callie was like, this place looks like a shitty pottery barn. And I was, you know what I mean? Like, it was like Callie was judging Emily's side of things, which was a complete difference. The main difference, though, is that Shane... Oh my God. I mean, talk about the hero of the episode. Shane Simpson does much more that we never see behind the scenes to get that house in gear. He cooks waffles. He cooks breakfast. He makes sodas for breakfast, and he puts them all down while Emily is having me time in her room. So Eric, on the other end, was the exact opposite. He sleeps until 9. He doesn't lift a finger around the house ever, not even to clean up the pig's barn area. What did you think about that sort of divide?
I feel like if you didn't know that Shane was low-key funny from watching the show, you'd be like, he didn't show his personality at all.
Really? But you and I, who know him really well, we got a huge dose of it, right?
He didn't say anything.
Shane said, Callie, you're such a cool spirit. I'm going to take you out for pizza night right when you get in. And Callie was struck by that. She goes, I never get to eat dinner out because I'm taking care of my kids. I felt like he was like, I'm going to go wild tonight and order the Supremo pizza. And he goes, you can get whatever you want. And she got the cheese. I thought that there was a lot of sort of chemistry there between them a little bit. You didn't sense that at all?
He was like, what did she say at the dinner? She was like, I just think it's too stressful to go out to dinner and like get a sitter and stuff. And he was like, you should.
Yeah. He said you should do stuff like this, and then Annabelle was a huge factor here. I remember Annabelle like 3 years ago when they would show Annabelle more, and it seems like teenage-itis or whatever the hell happens when people turn 12 has really gotten to Annabelle. And Emily says, I can't get through to her ever. She doesn't hug me. She doesn't look me in the eyes. She only looks at her phone. And then Callie kind of played it cool where she never tried to approach Annabelle in any way that was too aggressive, except when she made her cut those sausages for rule change night. But then at the very end, Annabelle kind of had an affinity for her and was really sweet about riding the bike. It was like Annabelle finally opened up after the 3 days, and gave Callie that chance. Did you find any merit to that?
It was just like my complete 3 out of 3 is like they literally, it's as if they spend the day together. Like that's it.
Right. Well, yeah. And I'm kind of, I think that I just love Shane and Emily so much that this was the home run for me. But I totally agree that Emily didn't spend enough time to get to know anything about this family.
They don't actually change any rules. Like they before the commercial break, they're like, I'm going to take your phone away. Like, we're going to do no screen time to bond. And the daughter's like, oh, and then it's like, okay, they like watched one movie together. That's her, like, the big change.
Yeah. Were you surprised?
Which they like didn't even watch.
Yeah. Well, they couldn't play they wanted to play, I think, a few minutes of it, but for copyright reasons. Did you think it was interesting that she likes Bad News Bears? And did you think it was the original or yeah, that's exactly. I was like the Billy Bob Thornton. Well, I have never seen either of them.
Me neither.
So that was kind of an interesting classic family movie. Shane goes, "Oh my God, put it on right now." So a little peek into his sort of movie watching diet.
I'm always amazed by the end. Every single episode, the women have cried. Mm-hmm. It got, I feel like, a little dark with Callie or whatever, where she was like, there's some stuff I don't even want to talk about that makes it really hard for me to open up to my husband. I was like, oh God, like what?
I thought Eric, in addition to being sort of a guy who doesn't do shit, had like cheated, and that she didn't want to bring it up on camera because they're like, sorry, wife swap's not about adultery, because that's not a problem that we can solve with Emily Simpson moving in for 3 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just felt like my takeaway from this show is that all moms are like on the brink of tears.
Oh yeah, I mean, from what we've seen, they're all trying to go for that heartfelt moment. I think it definitely, if I spent 3 days with 3 new kids, like the Swimsons, then I would, and then I came back to Penny or whatever, I would probably have a reaction of like, oh my God, kids are so different. And I think the kids are so sweet. Like they wanted to jump on the bed with Emily and look at her iPad. I think that just strikes you, no matter what. But also they're sort of, they're kind of enticed to cry at the end.
Right.
Incentivized to cry, I mean.
Right. They also faked us out with, when they swap back, the takeaway for the other family is that they're going to start going on date night. And then they pretend that they had a date night in the future, but it was the same day.
Yeah, Megan saw that too. She goes, we're watching fraudulent stuff right now. That was the same night. Eric just gave her a dinner on that same night. And possibly nothing even changed between them. But Callie did say she started going to lunch with him once a week. They had a pretty bad, they were probably the worst marriage out of any of the couples we've seen. She didn't even want to be touched by him, and she didn't kiss him when she left. So that was kind of hard.
Yeah, it was kind of awkward when it showed them reuniting. It seemed like maybe she was crying or something, and they wouldn't show her face after they hugged.
Yeah, right. And they didn't have the team go out there. It was all iPhone footage. That 13-year-old boy, I think, had to film his mom and dad hugging. I did think it was a stroke of luck that it was the Simpsons swapping with the Swimsons. That was probably pretty easy for them both to sort of...
Wasn't it Svensson?
I wrote it down wrong. I wrote Swimsons versus the Simpsons, but you're probably right. What did you say it was? Svensson?
Svensson.
Oh, right. Did you like Eric at all?
I mean, the fishing part, I guess, was kind of fun. He was immediately like, fuck doing this with my family. I hate this.
Yeah, he just, Emily was like, you just need to be appreciated more. And then she kissed him on the cheek. So
all the kids were like, can we not fish? And he's like, yeah, this sucks. Let's go.
Yeah. That dad's day trip was ruined. But anyway, still not the best. I agree. I've come down a little bit on my review. It's not the best. I did love seeing a little more of Shane, which I always do. But I'm going to really quickly rank in quality. Angie's was a 6 out of 10. Melissa's was a 4 or a 3 out of 10. And this one was like a 7 or a 7.5 out of 10 for me. Yeah.
That much higher. You just really love that family. I'm hopeful for the Wendy one because there's a kooky animals element. The quote from the preview is, what in the Dr. Doolittle is this place? And I was like, okay, this I could get behind.
I love that too. She also had another iconic line. It was, call up Delta, I need a flight immediately. When she saw that little lemur pop out or whatever. I thought that was really funny. I was laughing. I'm excited for number 4.
Like, it needs some hijinks. There's supposed to be a difference in their life, you know?
Yeah, a major difference. Yeah. Yeah, it's all about the casting of that other family, and I feel like they got a little better with this one. This was the first couple where I was like, oh, you could be maybe, friend ofs on New Jersey or something. Probably not on New Jersey, but on some franchise. Whereas the other ones were just not very interesting. I wasn't that intrigued by them at all. Does that conclude our talk of Wife Swap Real Housewives edition?
For now.
Great.
But yeah, my transition is, speaking of Emily, she's on the reunion of Orange County that we are going to talk about.
Oh my God, oh my God, that's perfect. Oh yeah. I didn't even think of that. Emily Simpson is one of the people who was a cast member on Real Housewives of Orange County, and she was just in Wife Swap. What did you think about this part 1 of TBD? We don't know how many parts this is.
Oh my God. Not to be Bleak Street, but I thought it sucked ass.
Really? So tell me when you fire this thing up, what you thought? You're like, this sucks multiple times as you were watching it?
It's just like, what are we even here to talk about? I kind of felt bad for Katie, because you can tell that she was really thinking, this is my moment. Finally, I haven't been able to be on the show for weeks and weeks. I get to defend myself or get an apology or have camera time. And personally, I was like, I don't care about any of this.
Oh, yeah. I didn't care about anything. I thought that she was going to leave the couch and Gretchen was going to replace her for the rest of the parts. I was like, I think we talked about everything that you have to cover.
Yeah.
I thought that for someone who wanted to, she starts out by saying, I have a lot of ground to cover from my absence or something. I was like, all the lie detector shit, she didn't have one thing to sort of back up whatever her view of everything was. She was basically stunned into silence by the end of Emily telling her all the details about the lie detector. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 6 months or whatever to come up with a workable theory. I felt like she was just completely shut down. Hopefully she gets some revenge for the hospital stuff, because if that also blows like a tumbleweed and is boring as hell, Katie was there for nothing. Completely.
And she was up against Andy on the lie detector part of it, because he was very pro lie detector. He goes, production booked the lie detector. There's only a handful of them that will do it on camera, so that's why those certain ones were hired. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh shit! You can't argue with that. He's taken that off the table.
Yeah, let's just say it now. Let's say it now, because we're already talking about it. Katie goes, the lie detector was a full setup. And he goes, no, it wasn't. Production called them. And that's just the people who appear on television. It's still a lie detector test. So this wasn't some grand scheme by Emily. And then also Katie has another huge bombshell that she thinks she's going to lob. She goes, and I heard that Shannon called Alex Baskin and screamed that the orange needs to be pried from my hands and plopped in Gretchen's hands. And Andy goes, Alex is in my ear right now. Alex Baskin, he never had that conversation. I was like, damn, that was it. Katie was 2 for 2 in full-blown flops.
Yeah, I know. And she was just like, okay.
She's like, okay, all right. So that's what I'm saying. Hopefully part 2 shines a better light. She could have some reasonable doubt for that hospital stuff. I know that we know that Gretchen switched stories. So maybe with Matt there's going to be some more evidence to support Katie, but the whole lie detector area, she was kind of humbled completely, I would say.
Right. Yeah. It starts out, Andy, as always, is asking about why people look the way they look. He says that Emily looks like she's lost weight. And he said, I will give him this. He said on that Alex Cooper podcast that he admitted that he was on, he keeps calling it a microdose of GLP-1, whatever that means. But he's like, I would be the hypocrite of the century if I didn't say that, because I'm constantly asking women for 20 years what they've had done. And I was like, all right, well, at least you know that. Like
Yeah.
if you're going to continue to always ask women what work they've had or weight they've lost, at least you know that you must do the same.
Yeah, this one though is kind of just like I don't know. There's only 2 of them look updates, and so the one it was like, Emily, you lost weight. And she was like, yeah, 20 pounds. It was like, okay. And then Tamra did her breasts or something, and then there was no other appearance talk after that one. So I normally I think enjoy it more, but that one felt like he just has to talk about looks. If we ever get to interview Andy, we should talk a lot about his looks at the start.
Yeah, he's gotten a little bit of Botox, he said, finally, and then. Yeah, we'll ask him about his semaglutide journey at BravoCon.
Totally.
Tamra joked, she was like, I won't be quitting today. And Andy's like, are you sure about that? And she goes, I'm in a good mood because Teddy's health has a good update. And they talk about that for like 5 seconds. And Andy goes, I would have thought that after everything you were talking about that you would have come in more zen this season. And Tamra's like, you don't think I was calmer this season? And he's like, no.
Yeah. And then it's like, no one does. And then they show all of the footage, and it's like Tamra screamed louder than any human has ever screamed. Any person during a season who screams "fuck you" at the top of their lungs with double birds in someone's face did not have a calm season. Tamra never has had a calm season. She has a complete misinterpretation of what she does each time she appears on camera. So she tries to have this sort of contrite version of herself, this Teddy redemption, like I'm feeling so much better because my entire demeanor is tied to Teddy's well-being, but she still can't help being an absolute monster to Shannon every 5 seconds. I was stunned by how lame and pathetic Tamra was about Shannon this entire reunion. Everything that Shannon says, she's screaming at her, speaking over her, making really stupid, childish faces, sticking her tongue out, putting her hand by her ear to symbolize that she's crazy. I've never really seen anything like it. It was a really petulant, total lame, horrible personality the entire time. And I didn't even know what Shannon did to start Tamra treating her like that for the entire time.
Yeah, she kept being like, shut up, Shannon. No one's talking to you. The first, I think, interaction is where, because Tamra had just talked about Teddy, Shannon is like, I wish that she goes, I didn't get half as much grace as you are expecting for yourself this season, because you're going through a hard time. I was going through the worst time ever, and you were treating me like shit, and Tamra was like, I don't ask anyone for grace. And then this is the sequence where Shannon calls her Tamra Grudge.
Yeah.
And I was glad that was it Emily that was like, did you say Tamra Grudge? That's great. And then everyone's like leaning over like, that's funny. Love that.
Heather goes to Gina. She goes, did you hear what Shannon just called Tamra Grudge? That's really good. I'm so surprised that we've had 15 years of Tamra and no one said Tamra Grudge before. It's perfect.
It's good.
Yeah, I love it. Tamra Grudge. I'm going to think about that forever. And this is when, we already talked about the Katie sort of, this is when Katie kind of vouches for her side of things. It gets completely shut down. I don't think typically Alex Baskin usually speaks up, but I think that I didn't even know that he would be the person that was in Andy's ear in the control room, or at least one of the people like, Alex, get over here. They might need something that you weigh in on. And then he jumps into the control room and tells Andy the truth about something. That was kind of cool. I didn't know how close he was to the production like that.
Right. Yeah. This is, Alexis, I guess, said that, like, she told Tamra that, no, sorry. Alexis said Shannon is trying to ice out Tamra. And then Katie said that she heard the same thing about herself, that Shannon called production saying that she didn't feel comfortable filming with her and that they should give Gretchen an orange. And Shannon's like, I never said that. And then Alex Baskin was like, didn't happen.
Yeah. Shannon's like, I don't even plan what I wear right before we shoot, let alone do I plan out master plans of how to ice someone out off the show. And also Emily at one point says, I don't have the power to have iced you out. And it's like, that is so true. Could you imagine Emily going to Alex Baskin's office and being like, I demand you fire and ice out a cast member that you hired? They'd be like, what are you talking about? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like that shit just would never happen. I
Katie tried to say that Jen was the one that told her that. And then Jen was like, what are you talking about? Like, she was like, I don't know what you mean. And then she just kind of got away with that because it turned out to not be true. But I'm like, obviously she said something.
Yeah. Some big Tamra moments too coming up. Andy goes, "What did you think, Tamra, when people said they don't trust you at all?" And Tamra was like, "I was hurt beyond devastated. I couldn't believe it." And then Heather explains why. She's like, "You're unpredictable." And what did she say? "Your unpredictable nature and inconsistencies." And I was like, why are we even watching? Like, it's like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Like, why does Heather have to justify for 1 second why she doesn't trust Tamra?
Right.
No one trusts her. She's been awful and horrible for so many years. Of course they don't. And then Tamra gets to act aggrieved and hurt that these cast members don't trust her. It's like it's ridiculous at this point that anyone has to justify that. She's been the worst human to every single one of them. At different times of their run on this show. So I didn't understand that. And then Shannon gets a huge win on the Tamra morality check when she goes, "The worst shit you've ever done in your life was when you brought up my dad's alcoholism on the show." And Tamra goes, "Season 15," or I don't know when she said, "Season 15 at episode 4, it's 6 minutes in, you claimed that someone in your family had alcohol. You dealt with alcoholism in your family." And Shannon never said it was her dad and never said immediate family, which Tamra claimed. I was like, there is such a fucking difference between saying I have a general knowledge of alcoholism because I dealt with it, then pinpointing Gene the Machine as being an alcoholic. And then Shannon goes, it goes even fucking further. Then you, under your breath, you said, "I don't give a shit about my dad." And I was like, oh my God, that montage there is like some of the worst shit Tamra has ever done. And then Shannon's like, "I had to talk to my dad about what was going to appear on this season." And she gives this sweet anecdote about how Gene the Machine said he just lives to see Shannon. That's all he's living for. So I thought that was kind of a sad moment. And I thought that was an underrated moment on sort of the horrible shit that Tamra does, because that was such a not very explosive moment. It's just her muttering the most insane, horrible, mean-spirited shit under her breath to another cast member. So I was glad that they sort of put the spotlight on that.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt like there were points in this where Andy sort of has Tamra on her heels. Like he sort of calls her out multiple times, and you can tell that she doesn't really know what to do when he does that. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic. We also, on the wife swap front, didn't say that the other wife was like, "You better hope it's not Terry Dubrow because he's going to sweep me off my feet."
I was thinking of you when she said that. I was like, oh my God, the dream. She was like, he's going to have me in his convertible Ferrari and my hair is going to be blowing back in the wind. I hope it's
See,
Terry
that
so
would be
bad.
a good one. Like
So,
Heather, no matter what the other circumstances, she'd be too hoity-toity for. Terry would just be having a blast, no matter what.
Yeah, Terry would have great energy as being the husband. He'd be like, I'd be like, "We can't have sex." Or he would be like, he'd have that joking, demeanor the entire time. That would be a great one.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk too much shit about Wife Swap because if we get a second season, we will get these iterations that we dream about, like that.
Yeah. Yeah. We can only dream.
We can only dream. We've already talked a lot about the Katie shit. One surprising thing Andy said is, after the lie detector test, you got a lot of fan support. And I was like, she did? Where? Who?
Yeah.
What was the support? What support? Because she failed 100% of the questions. I so missed the Katie redemption fervor that was going on when she, you know what I mean? Like, did that get on your radar at all? I don't know who he's talking about. Maybe Twitter or something.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Even the women were saying, we thought, because she was saying her POV was that she knew it was a setup because they had said, like, we're going to get her. And they're like, yeah, we said that because we knew that you would fail because we suspected that you were lying. And they were like, we didn't even suspect you would lie or fail that hard, but you proved us completely correct.
Yeah, Gina goes, if we were setting this thing up, we would have let you have 2 right. You got 100% lies. We would have never done that if we were trying to cheat the system, which was kind of a little bit of a funny moment. Shannon tries to interject a few times. I think even Andy kind of gets a little, he's like, Shannon, you don't need to say that right now. But every single time, like I already said, that Shannon speaks for 1 second to have any sort of moment, Tamra is just screaming until she stops. And you can tell that Shannon doesn't know what to do in that situation with someone who's treating her so reprehensibly. And that's sort of Tamra's MO. She just screams at you and calls you a piece of shit and runs and screams and says the most heinous shit to you until you back down and you don't get your way. And that's kind of what she does even up until the end when she's having her fight with Gretchen. She just screams the loudest.
Right. They bring up when they talk about Katie having recorded Shannon, Tamra goes, well, Shannon has recorded people. And Shannon's like, don't go there. People will get hurt. And you're like, what? And Shannon's like, she's done it to Vicky. And then it turns out that I don't really understand the circumstances of this. I guess Shannon was staying with Vicky, presumably after her DUI. I'm not sure. But that Vicky was having a huge argument with her husband. Is Vicky married?
No, I looked this up because I go, what the hell? And I think that maybe Shannon meant earlier, like right when she
like
started.
Back in the day?
Yeah, because I think her last marriage was to Dawn because she never got married to Brooks. Check me on this, but I checked and I didn't see that she was married again. So I think it might have been early in Shannon's season. Vicky and Dawn were getting divorced on Shannon's first season, so maybe Shannon had some proximity to them. And Shannon said, this could be wrong. Whoever
or
could have been Vicky and
her boyfriend a husband just by,
Yeah, but I didn't really understand Shannon's excuse. She said,
like, she thought that like the police would need to see what was happening.
I know. I was like, oh God, that's really bad, and that is why Shannon would have not want that known. But it kind of gets swept under the rug. You know what I mean? Shannon just says, don't talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. Shannon, I always kind of was like, it's like you always say about that thread. Don't pull that thread. Like there was up to a point, I'm sure there was some permissible recording that happened on these franchises. And then it wasn't until Brittany and now Katie became the scapegoats for that behavior that now they're going to make that the line that no one should cross for the future. But I'm sure there was some flippant fun recording in the past up until now.
Yeah. And then, so the thing that I'm confused about with like the Katie of it all is like, Emily says something like, Katie is using content creators to fight her battles. And Katie says like she apologizes for how she handled it. I feel like everything she's been accused of, she's just apologized for. And so I'm like, so it's all true. Like, I'm just like confused about what the situation even is anymore, or what she agrees that she did or did not do.
I really don't know either. The babysitter thing is like the Pandora's box or whatever that I don't know what the Pandora's fucking box is. Katie opened. Who would have opened the proverbial Pandora's box? Is it a bad thing? Is it like a Trojan horse? Is it good?
Yeah, I think it brings upon complications.
Katie opened the proverbial Pandora's box to Emily, and then I think that made Emily write her off forever. And then she got more and more sort of interested in the lies that Katie was spreading around during her season. She's very confident in the fact that she knows Katie is lying. She goes, I didn't need a lie detector test to know that Katie's lying. Also, the fact that Heather has I've had Katie's number since she started. I always got a bad feeling about Katie. There's enough evidence between all of the cast members to make me know that she has a history of telling lies. I don't know what she's apologizing for unless there's just more blogger stories that she planted in addition to the babysitter shit that she's trying to account for.
Yeah, and then we're going to have to go through the entire, I think they're going to spend the entire, second episode talking about the drugging shit, and, her husband comes out, and they're threatening Slade is I'm going to get out the phone records, and Matt's do you want to go there? So I think that will be her main topic to come.
Yeah. I'm excited because even between us, we weren't sure about what the truth is here because Gretchen said I did go to the hospital. So I really hope that, even though I'm not that interested in it, I hope that there is a final like resolution to what the story is by
Right.
the next part, because it's sort of a lingering mystery. What did you think about this very sad sort of, they get into kids, and I thought this was kind of shocking that Emily, well, I thought it was kind of sweet in a way, but Emily admits that when that Luke's, I guess, condition was sort of brought up on the show, that a lot of people watching told Emily that she needs to look into this thing called PANDAS, which I didn't know what it was, and she said that actually got us to diagnose this, and it's true. He had strep throat and he got affected by it, and now he has to have this like major operation or treatment to get rid of this. I thought that was sort of nice as a power of the Bravo community story in a way, that Emily that wouldn't have been on her radar had she not been told that.
Yeah, the long list of viewer diagnoses.
Yeah.
He's getting like a brain laser treatment, like kind of crazy. There was a whole kids section where Tamra talked about that she finally saw her estranged daughter and they had a long hug. So I think that was her only update, but for her, that's a huge milestone moment. So we'll see about that. And then Shannon's daughter wants to stay in Europe. She wants to work in hospitality. And during this whole section is where Andy said that he loved Emily's wife swap episode.
Yeah. I had that in my mind, knowing how much Andy was loving it. Shannon's daughter wants to be in hospitality in Europe. Hello, Vanderpump Villa.
Seriously, crossover.
She'd have to be going on to Hulu, though. Bravo wouldn't like that.
I'm like, no, the third season hasn't been on yet. They filmed it this summer.
Lisa is going back to the British countryside that she loves and used to grow up on, and she finally gets to sort of have the British, show us the British lifestyle that her and Ken used to be accustomed to, which I'm very excited about. And Stassi's going to be on that.
We didn't talk about, they released new sort of like snapshots from the new Vanderpump today, and Lisa looks really tired in her pic.
Oh my God. Let me look at it for 1 second. Where was it?
I think it was Bravo Instagram.
She looked like, did she look like
she looks kind of like miserable.
Really? You think she?
I'll DM it to you.
I'm kind of looking at it now. Oh my God. Yeah, I've never seen Lisa look. She looks kind of tired. I mean,
she looks like, here we go again.
It doesn't help that she's yawning and sticking her arms up in the air, doing sort of an exaggerated yawn. What the hell? Oh my God, these photos. This is the new cast.
There's also, sorry, I didn't say it. This person said it. No disrespect and not saying I'm some 10, but why are there literally not one good looking cast member?
Someone wrote that as a comment on that Instagram.
It has 8 likes.
Oh my goodness. Wow, someone wrote Lisa looks really tired. Why is she yawning? Oh my God. Wow. All right. Well,
snapshots of the shift change.
Everyone go to Bravo TV and look at those photos and comment something nice.
What is this paid robot? So excited for this sexy new shift.
Oh, is that what someone that's what someone wrote? Like
yes.
That's the copy that they wrote. Oh yeah. Yeah, that could have possibly.
Oh, she's on the show.
Oh, good. Oh, all right. Well,
that makes more sense.
That's nice. Yeah, well, I think that they look I can't wait. The jury's still out on those cast members. Oh, okay. Then Gretchen comes out, and this is when we get a little bit of Gretchen time. Gretchen is so nervous. I feel really bad. She didn't want Slade to come with her at all because I think she knows that Slade is just like everyone has such a horrible negative reaction to Slade that she wanted to like stand up for herself and not have the immediate negative reaction of having him there. She's really nervous. She's not very fun or not very equipped to make like fun remarks like the rest of the cast who are, you know what I mean? She's just
Can we just say that her rejoining was like an absolute waste of time for everyone?
You feel that way?
What fun moment did we have with her?
Well, I mean, it depends on if providing content or providing storylines is inherently what a cast member is there to bring. I don't think that she did anything like, yeah, you're right. I don't think that she did anything fun, like spin a cowboy hat on her head and like say, look at what I'm
But
doing
like,
with my.
what was the content that she accused Tamra of having sex with a 98 Degrees guy?
Well, she created. I mean, I feel like she after Katie. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go to bat for what Gretchen brought for a season that we both disliked, but I felt like she added more value than like Alexis Bellino or a time that they've tried to bring a cast member from the past before. Like she was a full-time cast member. A lot of the drama revolved around them opening up these stories from the past. I agree with you, though, that I don't know if had Tamra and her not had so much friction, if Gretchen had nothing and she was trying to just be like Alexis Bellino, talking about her life and maybe only getting in a little bit, I don't think it would have been a successful season at all. So I agree with you, I guess. I can't say that it was that Gretchen had an amazing season when this season sucked.
Right. It just wasn't fertile ground. Like, I don't think anyone was thrilled to have to rehash her and Tamra's feud for the entire season. Like, nothing new came of it. Whereas all I care about is that when she came out, she said she claims that she does digital marketing, but mostly as an influencer. And I'm like, just say you're an influencer. I don't think that you're like taking clients, but whatever. And that Slade is a consultant, but he also is on the board of the Liberace Foundation because the guy who runs it, I think she tried to say he was the consigliere of Monaco. And I looked it up and he's like the consul of Monaco. Like, I think he deals with like bringing business over there, and he lives in Vegas. And I think I've heard of this guy before because there's like a Liberace tour you can go on in Vegas. And I think this is like the weird guy that runs it. And I'm like, that is what I want to see. I'm like, that is some OG Housewives shit. Like this weird Liberace man who's friends with Slade and gives him this weird job. Like, can we go there?
I think you're totally right. I heard Liberace Foundation board, and I didn't even know what to think. But imagining a couple episodes of Slade going to Vegas, saying I have to meet up with the consul of Monaco to talk about my chairmanship at the Liberace Foundation board, I think we would both be very happy to see what goes on. It's in the Liberace Foundation. Do we know at all what that does to keep his legacy alive, or does it do some charitable work? I imagine.
Look, it says Foundation for the Performing and Creative Arts.
Oh, great.
There is a Liberace museum. They have a collection. I need to know more. Very much so.
Me too. What's that wonderful? My only real knowledge of Liberace is from that wonderful Steven Soderbergh film, which probably doesn't, it's not. I don't know if that's what every Liberace head loves, that film, but that's really all I know about Liberace. But I love that movie, Behind the Candelabra. Yeah, one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. Emily kind of says a silly thing when Gretchen first arrives. She goes, when they were talking about like how much they hate her outfits and they're pretending like they like them. Emily goes, when I said that you looked like you were dead and dripping in formaldehyde, that was a compliment. And I was like, what are you talking about? If that can be construed as a compliment, then anything in the world is a compliment. That was one of the weirdest things I've ever heard Emily say in my life.
Because she's so perfect. It's like she was dipped in preservative.
Right. That is exactly how you would convey that. Gretchen doesn't have, I don't know how much you want to get into this, but it's almost sort of, Gretchen doesn't offer a lot. Like I already said, she is not making moments. She's sort of like she's on the witness stand going, no, yes, that is not what happened. This was my intention with that. Please, no more questions. So not very fun. And then Tamra gets to, of course, sort of go in on Gretchen as much as she possibly can by fighting with her and calling her names. I don't know. Is there any piece of the Gretchen thing that you want to talk about? I like that when Andy accused Gretchen, because there's a little bit of a scandal about when Gretchen was fired with Slade, that she did this completely fake proposal because she never married Slade, that like she came off that helicopter, if you remember, she descended this rope and Slade was waiting on the building, and she came down the rope and went down on her knee to give Slade the ring And Andy goes, I always thought you did that, which is funny that Andy can be in this place of he's so calm and so confident that he just says his Bravo theories out loud to the cast members that are involved. He goes, I always thought you did that because you wanted Bravo to pay for your wedding.
I know, he sort of comes after her and then Tamra right after. He like, no one is safe. She does reveal that they had a civil ceremony that wasn't legally binding, but like a pastor or whatever. But then the 90 degrees or whatever it ended up being comes up, and Tamra is like, I forget who she yells at, maybe Shannon. She's like, you're always bringing stuff up from the past. And Andy's like, you always do that. And then she she denies it. And then she brings up all of these examples. And he's like, you just did it. And they're all like, he proved you right. And Andy's like, I'm trying to prove a point. And they're all like, you did. We heard it. And he's like, thank you.
Yeah. And you're right. You're the point you made that Tamra doesn't know how to deal with Andy calling her out because it's probably the only person that she respects in this room at the time. So she's kind of taken aback when she doesn't have the best faith version of herself presented, by Andy. I don't know what else. I mean, it kind of spirals a little bit. Gretchen defends Slade, like that he does buy groceries and that he's a huge. He does do a lot of work at the Liberace Foundation as a board member, and then I think Shannon's interrupting a little bit, and then Tamra brings up another rumor about Gretchen. They go, "You were sitting on the lap of Bleep and making out with him," and Gretchen goes, "Oh my God, that's such a lie," and then Tamra screams louder than you've ever heard, a 10 out of 10. She goes, "You're the liar, you fucking piece of shit. You absolute piece of shit." What does she call it? She just goes on this horrible screaming tirade, and that's how the episode ends, which is going to pick back up, next week.
Yeah. I'm really stuck on the Liberace Foundation. Like, that's something I would expect from Miss Patricia or something, like a retired 70-year-old woman who's like, I'm on the board of the Liberace Foundation. It keeps me busy. I would like to know a little more. I'm just imagining, like he's probably helping out with the museum because Liberace famously had a lot of different outfits, right? Like some interesting clothes. And who knows? We should go to the museum in Vegas.
Do you think we'll have a little bit of time?
Maybe. Let's figure it out.
What if it said Liberace Foundation and then we went in one of the rooms and it was just Slade's huge photo and he's the only foundation member? Would that be interesting?
Yeah, we'll try and get boots on the ground. But yeah, I don't know. I just if this turns out to be 3 parts, I'm gonna end it.
I don't think I know. We would both end it. I don't think that we'll get that. That won't come to pass. They have not announced that this is a 3-parter. They normally do that to show how explosive a reunion is going to be. They haven't announced it as 3 parts. I don't think it possibly could happen. So good. All right. Well, we talked about, what did we talk about? We talked about the news. We talked about Wife Swap, and then we talked about OC. I feel like we have fulfilled the Turtle Time mission. Yes. We've got a lot of stuff coming up on this Friday slot, so don't get too discouraged if you're like, wait, I hate Wife Swap and I hate OC, so this episode of Turtle Time must be pure shit. No, that's not true. And also we have wonderful stuff coming up. December is for Bravo heads. Southern Charm, new Vanderpump Rules, which Amy and I are going to parse like a hawk, and then what the hell else is that other thing? Beverly Hills. Oh my God, could you imagine? Fridays at Turtle Time are going to get hot. Just hold on.
Summer is over, but it's hot at Turtle Time.
Oh my God, that is such a good sort of catchphrase, and I think it rings true. I want to say this. I'm going to make it quick for Amy and I's sake. Go to the Patreon, please, for the love of God. If you've got $6 or $10 or $25 that's burning a hole in your pocket and you don't know how to spend it, go to the Turtle Time Patreon. And I swear it's like a fucking, sorry to curse, oasis of content. Your mind will be blown. If you become a Lisa's Boudoir member, your head is going to be fucking spinning. You get access to our Vanderpump Rules recap series. You get access to these Villa Rosa Film Society episodes, which are fun as hell. It's just wonderful. And the most important part is that we love our Villa Rosa VIPs who comment on everything. They're so sweet. They fact check us. They let us know when we're doing a good job. They let us know when we completely suck. It's a wonderful community that we love. So please, if you have money burning a hole in your pocket, spend it right now.
Yes. Every week you get a Vanderpump Rules recap podcast, but after we get back from BravoCon, one episode is going to be dedicated to us spilling all the tea, paywalled, so that we can tell you what really happened and who did what, like how Shep was totally blackout the last time we saw him at BravoCon, things like that. So if you haven't joined, I think that will be worth joining for, because where else are you going to hear it? We don't want to say it in public necessarily because we get up to some wild shit. So that will be next Monday, not this coming Monday, but the one after, whatever day that is.
Yeah, you'll see it. Just think about Mondays and imagine something coming up, and it'll be there. Don't even worry about it. And then reviews, those make Amy and I's heart grow like the Grinch on Christmas Day when he sees the Who's that they're still singing because they're celebrating their families, even though he took all of their presents. And then go to the Etsy store to get some fucking BravoCon merch, or surprise your family member with a Bravo fan tee that we have of a bunch of different cast members that you'll love. Go there, support Turtle Time, please. We love you all so much, and we'll be back. What's it? It's Friday today, so we'll be back next week with some episodes, right?
That's true.
All right, great. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.